silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Time gone by, I've traded like dirt in the clay. Thought my memories would end. One street.
This is one street over, and this is an opportunity to say, hey, what's going on? One street over from where you living, right? Well, that's what we're trying to do. And Jim Bellis made a suggestion. He said, LaVern, what if we had the principals come in from all over Robertson County and talk to you and kind of talk to them about what the schools, what their different schools are doing? I said, I think that's a great idea. And they actually were doing that when I took the show over. And I just kind of lost track of how they organize it and stuff and didn't really know how to organize it because I wasn't in the school system at the time. And so that kind of fell to the wayside. So I'm so excited that Jim's worked this out. And our first principal that we're meeting with is Dr. Grant Bell, and he is from IA, Innovation Academy. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic.
Did I get all
this
that
morning.
right?
You did perfect.
Okay,
Well done.
wonderful. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And so, and I'll just kind of to set the show up, we've also got Miss Jill Reeves coming in, and she is from where? Did you?
Bransford Early Learning School.
I looked at her acronym, and I wasn't sure where it was. So she's coming in at 7:30, and we're going to do this once a month. Typically, we're going to meet on the first Tuesday. We're going to meet a couple of principals. Now, next month, we're going to do the first Tuesday and the last Tuesday because we need to double up one month to get everybody in. Mm-hmm. And but typically you're going to find the principals on the first Tuesday. So that's when they're going to come in. But how long have you been at Innovation Academy since the start?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you were the first one out of the gate.
I've been an administrator at Innovation Academy for 15 years.
Okay.
Well, it's
Has it been that
exact.
long?
No.
Oh, but you've been there. I was going to say.
I've been in the building. I started in 2010. I started in 2010 as assistant principal at Springfield Middle School.
Gotcha.
And I'm working under Dr. Mike Morris, a wonderful mentor, and served in that capacity for 2 years. And then in 2012 became the principal of Springfield Middle School.
Okay.
We started Innovation Academy STEAM. Well, we started an Innovation Academy magnet school in 2016, and it was 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and it was within Springfield Middle School. So we had two schools within one building. We had Springfield Middle School,
Okay.
but we also had a magnet school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was 2019, the Board of Education voted to make the magnet school a 6 through 12 magnet school, serving Robertson County. So we began to transition Springfield Middle School kids out, and we started keeping kids moving into the high school. So our first eighth grade class that first year became freshmen.
Gotcha.
And they didn't have anyone in front of them.
Right.
And then they became sophomores. Well, this year they're seniors.
Oh, wow. So it's the first graduating class?
First graduating class. We have 6th grade through 12th grade. We are a STEAM magnet school, and serving all the kids of Robertson County. Everyone in the county can apply to come. Typically, our biggest application group is incoming 6th graders. We take 100 6th graders every year, and we've got an application process coming up here pretty quickly. We're going to have our lottery in November this year, which is new for us. So 100 kids per grade level. That's my mom.
Oh, that's okay. But
always check with
well,
her
see, and that's I think we're all curious as to how that works. So 100 kids coming into 6th grade, but I'm assuming that some holes open up throughout the other grades as well. Can other kids come in and apply? So if you end up with 10 slots with freshmen, can other freshmen apply?
Yes.
Okay, and come from
What-
another school. Okay.
Typically in the middle school years, it's rare for us to lose a kid. Now, we
Well,
may
some move, you know.
we have
yeah.
may have a child move
Right.
out of district or out of the state.
Right.
Things do happen, but we're pretty consistent in the middle grades.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we hit the 8th grade, we still have usually less than 10 kids. You may have a handful that go to Springfield High School, mainly for athletics,
Mm-hmm.
or go to a private route. So we may have anywhere from 7 or 8 slots, and we do accept freshmen.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't realize that, but we typically have 7 or 8 spots. Now, those are dropping as we increase our high school opportunities. Those positions are dropping, but we may have one spot open up for the 7th grade.
Yeah.
If somebody moves, we may have one open up for the 8th grade. We may have 7 or 8 open up for our freshman class. And we do not accept sophomores, juniors, and seniors because we have 2 programs of studies, and it's so difficult for them to catch up if they
Oh, I
don't get
gotcha.
their freshman year in.
Oh.
We have 2 programs of study, and they really got to get started on that pretty quickly in their freshman year. So once the freshman year is over, we're set with our group.
Okay. So the only time you can come in freshman. So how many seniors do you think you'll be graduating this year?
We have 67.
67 seniors.
Yes, and we knew that first group would be smaller.
Okay. Sure.
When we were talking to those 8th graders about staying with us, that was a tough sell because
Yeah.
we didn't have anything in front of them.
Yeah.
And you had Springfield High School, Greenboro
Well,
High
you
School,
had all the athletics.
whatever
Yeah,
their home
yeah.
school was, kids wanted to go there, and it still felt like Springfield Middle School at that time. Like,
Right.
this is a middle school.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go to high school.
Right.
We were able to keep 67, and that was actually more than we had anticipated.
Right.
And so we're very proud of that. And then our next group, we kept 89. So we're moving up where at some point we will keep 100 every year.
Awesome.
So eventually we'll have 700 scholars in the building, 100 per grade level. And that's about what our building can handle
Mm-hmm.
is 700, no more than that.
Okay. Now,
Facility.
you know, like in our at Greenbrier, because I'm at Greenbrier, and so we have CTE programs. Do you have CTE programs there at the school?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And,
What subjects do y'all cover? Do you have
well,
ag or?
No, we have engineering.
Okay.
Of course, we are a STEAM magnet school, and that's science, technology,
Right.
engineering,
Right.
the arts, and math. So that is a focus of our school, and we are actually certified through the state of Tennessee in STEAM, which is a rare certification.
Okay.
We worked 2 years tirelessly to get that certification, and were awarded that the May before last. And so engineering is CTE,
Uh-huh.
and coding, office management, and business on one side, and then on the other side we have the arts. We have
Right.
a tremendous band, choir, and Mr. Raymond Stanley does our theater department, and he's just fantastic.
You mean the famous Stan Stanley?
Yes, this is famous Stan
I got to get
Stanley.
that in there. I love Stan Stanley. He's,
And,
I mean, I tell the kids, I'm like, he's been on Broadway. I mean,
He
he is,
has.
you know, come
Now-
on. He's
now
legit.
now he's at the Innovation
I love
Academy.
him. Yeah, that's great. He and I started the same time, so we kind of got our heads. I got to get him back
Okay.
in here.
Well, he's a Greenbrier boy,
yeah,
so
yeah,
y'all
yeah,
went
yeah.
to school together.
So, well, I'm from Kentucky. I'm
Oh,
not from
okay,
here.
okay.
No. I'm a Kentuckian. Well, I've been in Tennessee since 1980. So but I grew up in West Kentucky. I'm from
Okay.
Mayfield.
Okay.
But no, I went to Lipscomb and Freed Hardeman, all that, and ended up in Nashville. Is how I ended up here. And my husband's like from practically Canada. He's a Youper from up in the Upper Peninsula, and he's teaching at Springfield. So,
Okay.
but so I got drawn into Greenbrier High School because they were the first ones to bring in audio video production. And that's what I was qualified to teach without having to get any more education. So I was like, "Ooh, I like that." So now, talking about audio and video, I know in the middle school, y'all have and I forget what they call it, but they have a little bit of little bit of audio video. They have a little bit of the different sciences and the engineering, and it's like a career development class. Is that what they call it?
In the
It's kind of in the same. It's in the same lines as CTE, and I think it does fall under the CTE umbrella. But it does a little bit of everything because I was able to meet with them.
That's in the 7th and 8th grade.
Come up on that microphone for me.
In the 7th and 8th grade, Mark Gregory with the CTE department started this program. It's wonderful. The kids go and they do a lot of career exploration. You can go in there and they're doing lots of hands-on things, working with drones and coding and just lots of higher level things are going on in there. So that's a program that we're really proud of in the middle school grades.
And it's really cool. And I had an opportunity to go meet with them last year, just trying to help them with their audio and video aspect of it and get things going there. But I love what you are doing there. There's a lot of different things. And again, I know about it through the Corbins because I know your assistant principal is Mr. Corbin, right? And the triplets go there. Amy Corbin's a dear friend, so got to give a shout out to them. So I get a little bit. And didn't Amanda? She did track there, didn't she? Jagger, Miss Jagger.
She still does.
Yeah,
And she is.
She about to have a baby.
She is wonderful.
She's a doll. I love her. She's a dear friend.
She coaches our cross country,
Yeah.
and they won the county championship last year. So we're really proud of that, and they're really tough this year as well. We've got some great scholar athletes that participate in the cross country.
That's awesome. When is their season? Because I know we've got cross
right
country
now.
right now. That's what I thought. And she's about to have a baby. When does your season end?
Probably the end of September, I think.
Okay.
I'd have to look at
She
that.
got an assistant because
Well, yes, she does.
I was gonna say 'cause
LaVern
I know
is
when
her
that baby's
assistant.
due. Yeah. So
she's got somebody helping. her.
yeah, good.
And,
Well, she's a gem.
well,
I'm sure you realize that she's
She's
a
not just a
gem.
great coach; she's a great human being.
And
as
she's
well.
a fabulous teacher. I mean,
Yeah.
she's just wonderful. But I saw her that she was doing the coaching over for cross country. And my first encounter with Amanda, and she'll tell this too, when they first moved down from New York, she was going to school locally. So mom and dad just moved with her. She was jogging in dark clothes. And I pulled over and I was like, you need to wear something brighter out here in the country, and I, because I wanted to understand this is very rural and nobody can see you. And that was my first encounter with Amanda.
Right.
Yeah, it's so funny, but I've known them for years. But we're talking with Dr. Grant Bell. He is with Innovation Academy, and just all the things that are going over there. And when you were talking about, let's double back to the process of becoming a student there.
Mm-hmm.
What if I have kids that one of them wins the lottery and I have siblings? Is there some kind of an avenue for if one kid's there that the siblings can go there? Is there any kind of provision for that, or do they all have to apply individually?
There used to be.
Okay.
When we started the program in 2016, and everything that we've done was done working along with the United States Department of Justice.
Gotcha.
That was part of the lawsuit that occurred back at that
Right.
time to, I guess, lessen the diversity that was occurring in some of the Springfield schools.
Or the lack of
So-
diversity.
Yeah, the lack
of
the lack of
diversity. Right.
diversity. And so the magnet school was an opportunity to pull kids from the other schools into ours. And we knew that it would be a challenge if we were able to get one child and there was another one coming up in a year or two.
Right.
Parents would be reluctant to break up families. So in the initial stages, we did put a sibling clause in that was approved by the Department of Justice. And so we started getting families in. Now, just within the last couple of years, we have taken the sibling clause out,
Okay.
and it is grandfathered in for the kids that were promised that. A promise
Sure.
made
Oh, of
must
course,
be a
of
promise
course.
kept.
Okay.
So this year, our 8th grade scholars still have the power, 8th, 9th, 10th, still have the power of the sibling clause.
Okay.
Then the next year, only the 9th, 10th, and it's going
gonna graduate, yeah.
transition out year after year.
Yeah, stay on that mic for me.
It's going to transition out 1 year at a time
Okay.
until eventually, I guess in 4 or 5 years, it will disappear. But so at this time, we take an application. If a child gets in, the family would have to apply for the next child. to get
Okay.
in.
Okay.
So,
Well, and I think that would be, I think I've got 4 boys. And if I were in that process, that would be a thing for me. And I have twins even,
Yeah.
so I would be, very hesitant to, I don't know. I think that would be a factor for me with multiple children, but I understand, to be fair, how else can you do it really? And I can
Well-
see how you would have it in the beginning, of course, but then,
Yeah.
you would have to just really kind of phase it out. But I mean, it makes sense.
Well, it
But,
just comes
yeah.
down to every family, and this is the way that it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Every family sitting around the kitchen table and making choices for what they think is in the best interest
Right.
of their child.
Right.
And if they want, we do have some cases where we have a child in our school, but a sibling is at their zone school. And so it's just families sitting down and determining what's in the best interest of my child.
Mm-hmm.
And that does prevent some from coming. And some kids that moved on to possibly Springfield High School,
Mm-hmm.
we will lose a younger sibling because they go to Springfield High School and they can ride with their sibling.
True. And
And
transportation.
this was before they had an opportunity to stay in our building, and I understand that as well.
Uh-huh.
So it's just about choice. We provide another choice for the parents of Robertson County.
Right.
And a really great choice,
Yeah.
but one that you just need to sit down and talk about the options that you have.
How about transportation for IA? So let's say that somebody from the White House Heritage Zone, okay,
Yeah.
gets an into Innovation Academy. So they're kind of outside what you would consider maybe the zone for IA. So would they be in charge of their own transportation? Do y'all have like a transportation allowance for IA? And then if you're outside this, then you've got to drive in, or is just anybody that goes to IA, you get picked up from the buses? How does that work?
Every child, and Josh Heinerman and the transportation department have done a fantastic job. Every child is transported. Now, in the mornings, the children are responsible to get to their home school, and then there's a bus that picks up that group of children from Heritage, for example.
Okay.
And there may be 7 or 8, 9 kids. They get on the bus, they come to Innovation Academy, and then in the afternoon, the bus actually takes them right to their doorstep. So,
Okay.
and White House Heritage is probably our longest commute.
I would imagine, yeah.
Joe Burns can be kind of a long commute,
Uh-huh.
but so transportation is provided for every child. to
Okay, well,
make
that makes
sure-
sense. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So if they're zoned for, Joe Burns, then they're at Joe Burns and they get picked up when they drop the kids off there and then they bring them to IA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once again, in the
Yeah.
afternoon, they don't take them to the school in the afternoon.
Yeah.
They take them
they
right
take
to
'em
the
right home.
doorstep.
So what time do y'all start?
Our classes start at 8:30.
Okay.
But our doors are typically open around 7 o'clock. We've got
Okay.
robotics club that comes in the morning. We've got kids working on robots. We've got other activities in the morning, but classes, our official times are 8:30 to 3:30.
Okay.
But there's things going on
Oh,
before
yeah.
that. I was there till after 9 o'clock last night.
Mhm.
We had a high school volleyball game. We've started a high school volleyball program, and we got a victory last night. And that
Wonderful.
was really exciting. So I guess I was there from about 6:45 in the morning till 9:15 at night. So that's
Yeah,
that's the life of an administrator,
I can imagine.
really.
And you guys don't get summers off like the teachers do, or not really. You get
Not
some
much.
time off, but you don't get much because I know Dr. Osborne, anytime I was around during the summer, it seems like I saw her.
Most the administrators that I know you can find them around their schools
Uh-huh.
every summer. Now they may try to get away for a beach or a family getaway,
Yeah.
but they're at school.
They're not too far, but
Yeah.
there's so much going on. But and if you have any questions for Dr. Gibson, right?
Bell.
I'm just like, where did I get Gibson? I don't know why. It just came out wrong. You know how you just have a brain blurb.
That's okay.
But Grant
Mhm.
Bell, Dr. Grant Bell. And if you have any questions for him, he is the principal at IA Innovation Academy, and I know you've got a lot of renovations and stuff going on.
We do.
So I've talked a little bit with Dr. Weeks about that. So what is your projection on what all are they working on? I know the bathrooms are a big thing, but what else are they working on?
Well, we've had quite a bit of activity at the school. We just completed, almost completed a new parking lot because we have juniors and seniors driving
Oh, yeah.
now. And our parking last year, we were kind of parking wherever we could.
Sure.
And we've got 140 scholar parking lots right down behind Boy Smith Field.
Right.
It's where I learned how to swim down at the
That old pool. That's what
the
everybody
old
keeps talking
public
about. Yeah.
school pool was down there,
Uh-huh.
and Pete Koss, who was kind of a legend around here, ran that pool for what felt like decades.
That's hysterical.
But we've got 140 down there, and then behind the school, we've got almost 50 spots that are for staff. So we've added about 170 parking spots, which we had to have, and that's almost complete. They've got to put another top of asphalt on it, but we're using it now. Now, inside the building, the construction, I'm so used to it now that I don't even notice it. If
yeah,
that
I
makes
got
any
you.
sense.
Yeah.
There's men walking around. The ceiling is out, but we're just going about our day. But the restrooms basically were original 1938 restrooms.
Yeah.
There were boys and girls on the top level, the middle level, and the lower level. And what had happened, the plumbing had just basically disintegrated, and it was causing chronic issues in those restrooms. So it was a major fix. And so we've started a major renovation. All the restrooms are shut down inside the building. And they came in and did a demolition over the summer when the kids weren't there because there were jackhammers.
Oh, yeah.
It was loud. Now they're shut off and they're in there working during the day, and you can hear them in there working, but we're just continuing to have school.
Sure.
I would say that we're going to have 2 fully operational restrooms at fall break,
Awesome.
and then the other 2 sets not long after that.
Awesome.
And HVAC is going to be upgraded, and that's all occurring throughout the school year. We've still got window units in some of our old, our classrooms, where our entire building is dated. I love our old building.
I do too. It's
it's got a lot of work.
It's so historic.
It's so historic, and I'm very proud that the county is helping us out and doing this work. We're changing out windows. We're adding ballistic film, which is new state law, to all the windows that are on ground level, and HVAC throughout the building. So we're just going to be living with construction. It's kind of like having a kitchen renovation in your home. It's very inconvenient, but it will be worth it when it's over. It's going to really lift our building up and make her a lot more functional for us. And but by Christmas, all of our restrooms will be up and running again.
Okay.
And we've got portable restrooms that are sitting right outside the building right now. They're trailers.
Yes, it's not a portalet, guys. It's a nice functioning bathroom.
They're trailers. Yeah. And when I got in them, I thought, gosh, this is much nicer than I anticipated.
Yeah, they're nice.
They're very nice. And so one sits right outside the gym, and one sits right outside the library behind the school that you go down. So some of our larger restroom breaks can go there. But the 3 principals, we have private restrooms, and we've opened those up to kids during the day that just have to run to the restroom.
Right.
So it's just really a team effort to get through this time period.
You bet.
And everything's going fine. Everybody's just kind of stepped up, and it will be worth it.
Oh, yeah.
When we get through it.
I can't wait to see it. I really can't.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful.
I think so too. And I love the auditorium. Before I even moved here years ago in the late 80s, I had an opportunity. I hosted an event at the middle school for radio. It was like a beauty pageant or something, like a preliminary for Miss Tennessee or something.
We
and-
still do some of them.
Yeah.
We still have a lot of events in our theater.
But I'll never forget that because I was like, where am I going? I'm going to what? You know how because this was before you had GPS and I had to
Yeah.
find, of course, I never dreamed I'd be living just down the road from it. But I thought when I can remember being there thinking, this is a cool old theater.
Well, it's
You
even,
know.
we did a $3 million restoration
Yeah,
on that,
yeah.
and it is absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful. Oh, I'm there all the time because I
Yeah.
come and watch Robertson County players.
Yeah.
And I'm just a big fan of the players. And they, of course, they've not been, their last show, Gypsy, they moved it down to Coopertown because of the renovations.
Because of the
Yeah,
renovations,
right.
we've had to cut back on our visitors using the theater.
Right. That's
this
that's
year.
understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, but I just can't wait to see it when it's completed. I just love the building. I love the history. I love it when you can preserve that.
Yeah.
It's just really cool. But I'm so glad to meet you. I told Jim said, well, what are you going to ask him? I said, I don't know. We're just going to talk. And I said, well, I want him to tell me what are you most proud of with Innovation Academy? What are you like, man, that's us. What would you say? Would you have an answer for that?
Well, that's really easy. The staff that we
Mm.
have and the kids that are in the building. The staff that we have, I just think they're the top professionals that I've ever had the honor to work with. Every one of them,
Mm-hmm.
100% committed to providing their best effort every single day to the kids that we have coming into the building. The children that are in our building are there because they want to be there.
Right.
And
Mhm.
doing your best in school in our building is cool.
Mhm.
And that's not always the case in every building. The kids help each other. They want to succeed. They want to achieve at a high level. And it's cool to achieve at a high level in our building. And they rally around each other. And they help each other. There's a culture of high expectations in our building. And I just think the school is going to accomplish great things and bring honor to Robertson County schools.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. We're talking with Dr. Grant Bell. I had the bell and I was just like, I knew I had it wrong a while ago, but anyway, I apologize. It's just so many things in my head. But anyway, Dr. Grant Bell is here. He is from IA. He is from Innovation Academy. And, if I didn't have any questions pop up, but there was one thing, I don't want to just end on that note real quickly. You mentioned volleyball. So what other sports are you participating in right now? You got football, right? And you got track. So what all are you participating in?
Middle school, we compete in every sport that Robertson County middle schools compete in. I think there's 9 sports, and football, baseball, basketball, soccer, volleyball. We compete in all of those sports. Now in high school is kind of a different deal. We've had a co-op with Springfield High School that gives a lot of our scholar athletes the opportunity to compete. But at this time, we do have a high school volleyball team. We have a high school football team that's brand new this year.
Right.
We have a bowling team.
Okay.
And we have cheerleaders.
Okay.
And that's going to be the way of it for the next couple of years.
Right.
And then we can add soccer because we have the facility.
Okay.
Boy Smith Field provides the facility, but that may be it in the long term.
Right.
Baseball, softball, high school basketball, some of those things we will continue
Co-op.
to co-op
Yeah.
and use that. And basketball is going to be a challenge for some reasons we won't get into this morning, but especially baseball and softball. But we've got 3 girls that play softball at Springfield High School, for example, and play
Okay.
at a really high level. But we want all of our kids to have an opportunity to compete
Right.
in any athletic event that they want to compete in. And we're very
Mm-hmm.
grateful to Springfield High School and Dr. Tucker
Yeah.
for that opportunity for some of our kids to compete. And we've got a lot of soccer players that go to Springfield High School to help the Yellow Jacket team. But those are the sports that we have right now in the high school, and that will be stable
Okay.
for a while.
And that makes sense. And that's the question I meant to ask you earlier, but I just think that would be hard to do because I came from a small high school.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have, we had basketball and baseball and
Yeah.
softball. That was it. you know,
Yeah.
sports wise. That's all we did. And of course, that's in the 70s too, you know, but we didn't have a football team. So, you know, I think that's great that y'all been able to pull all that together. So
We've got almost 40 football players.
that's
and,
great.
We played Friday night. We played a team out of Memphis that came up. We lost 28-22. It was a wonderful
wow.
game.
Yeah.
And, but it was a really great event.
Yeah.
The kids wanted a typical high school experience: pep
Sure.
rallies,
Yeah.
cheerleaders, homecoming on a football field.
Fun.
That was why it was so important to create an event. And then in 2 years, we'll be adding marching band, and our band is incredible. And they needed a platform
Sure.
to be able to perform at a halftime.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a lot of reasons behind starting that program. And
That's wonderful.
next year we'll be in district. We'll be playing teams like Joe Burns and some of the smaller teams. So
Right.
uh,
Well, I've got it. We've got to get because we've got Miss Jill Freeze, the principal from. Tell me again the name of the school
the
that she's in.
Bransford Early Learning School.
The Bransford Early Learning School. So she takes care of the little ones. But we are so thankful that you came by to talk with us. And this is Dr. Grant Bell. He is with Innovation Academy, and I would assume your door is always open, right?
It is
If
every
anybody
day.
is, and again, tell them when the applications are and how do they apply if they want their children, if they've got incoming sixth graders to Innovation Academy. How do
The-
they apply?
The application process, and I don't have that in front of me. We changed it this year. Dr. Weeks wanted to get it in front of Christmas instead of after Christmas. But the application process will be coming up. It will be all over social media. We're putting a billboard up in the community, but all of that advertising and information
well, I'll check on that
is
and
getting
follow
out
up.
very quickly.
Okay.
But those things are going to happen before Christmas this year, and we want everybody to be aware of that. But we're going to get the information out to everybody in every way that we can.
Sounds good.
And so
it'll go out in the middle schools or actually elementary.
we communicate with all the principals at the elementary schools.
Okay.
We go out and visit those schools to tell the kids about Innovation Academy. So we get the information out to the parents
Very good.
as much as we can. But we do want 8th grade parents to know that traditionally, historically, there's 8 or 9 spots, and you can get your kid in the Innovation
But you got to get
Academy.
in on 9th. Okay.
But you have to apply.
Okay.
You have to do that.
Okay.
And we'll get that information out.
Very
Anybody
good.
can call at any time, and we're there to help them.
You want to give them a phone number?
Our number is 384-4821. You can ask for Dr. Bell or Miss Henderson.
Okay.
She is over the magnet application process, Miss Maureen Henderson, and we can answer all of your questions about the application process.
384-4821.
4821.
That's 615 area. We better wrap it up. Jill's going to be like, it's my turn.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Bell,
Thank
so
you.
much. God bless you.
It's been an
Thank
honor.
you for
Thank
coming
you.
in. It's been an honor talking with you as well. God bless you. Have a great day. And we are going to do a quick break and let Jill make her way in here, or Miss Reeves come on in here, and I got to find out is she a doctor or not. But we got most of our administrators are doctors. I don't know if y'all knew that or not, but there's an awful lot of them are. So come on in here, and let me do my ad while you get comfortable. But we're going to talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty, and if you're looking for any kind of help in the real estate community, guys, cannot say enough about my friends, Barry and Rebecca Richards. They are just, the whole deal. They've worked in Nashville. They're from Kentucky. They've been in Cross Plains for nearly 30 years. That diversity of their experiences in these areas makes them very unique. That means they can specialize in Robertson County properties, but also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky because they've been there. They've done that. They know what's going on. You can reach out to them with Rebecca's number, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. She's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. That means if you know somebody that's wanting to downsize, it's time to maybe do something different. They're getting older. She's a specialist at that. Barry is the marketer. Cannot say that enough, how important that is when you're selling property to make sure it's seen in the right light, the best light. So when people are flipping through listings, yours pops out. He can do video. He can do walkthrough tours, photography, drone footage, all of the things that are going to give your property the best chance to sell when you want it to sell. He's the broker here in Springfield. She has an agency office up in White House, so they combine those two offices to bring you a new branch in the Exit Tree. They are Exit Prime Realty. Exit Prime Realty. Contact them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy, robertsoncounty.com. Again, her number 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Always, please. And moving on, if you're just joining us, we are going to Robertson County, and I just appreciate Jim for coming up with this idea and bringing it, because they did this when I first started, and I lost track of it, didn't really know how to get people scheduled, or, I wasn't in the school system. And so he's got this going. You're wearing your Bransford Pride stuff. I love Bransford, man. I just love the story of Bransford. It is so cool. And now, are you a doctor?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
I just wanted to get that right, because if
not.
I'd earned my doctorate, you call me doctor. You know what I mean? But, well, wonderful. And how long, now I was trying to I was looking at your acronym, and we're all acronyms in education.
Yes.
So Dr. Bell was telling me it's what?
Our school name is Bransford Early Learning School, and that is brand new this year.
Okay. And what does that mean?
That means, well, let's give you a little history. In 2015, our school board opened up Crestview Elementary.
Right.
And so as part of that repopulation of our students in the district, Bransford became a pre-K only building.
Okay.
Great foresight for our school board to see the need for preschoolers and for preschool to be an option for children, especially in the community that Bransford is located. So we had a perfect building, a perfect location, a place that was already serving young children, because they had pre-K and kindergarten prior to that. And with the opening of Crestview, we became a pre-K only building, but our name did not change.
Okay.
We were still Bransford Elementary School until this school year.
Okay.
But last year we've realized for a while that we had an identity crisis.
Yeah.
And it was confusing for the community, for our stakeholders, for anyone who did not really know who was actually coming to our building every day. So we have a leadership team at our school, and we just took it to the school board and started with Dr. Causey and said, we really think that we should change our name and identify ourselves with who we really are now.
I love that. And if you don't know the history, Bransford it's got such a rich history. And I think it's so wonderful that y'all brought that forward. And what age group do you look around your chair, make sure you don't see his keys? I think Dr. Bell has misplaced his keys. Have you misplaced your keys? Did you misplace?
My phone in here.
Oh, you left your phone. I don't see it anywhere, but
Here it is.
there it is. How about that? No problem, Dr. Bell. God bless you. Don't be embarrassed, please. I leave things everywhere. Don't be. Anyway, those phones, my goodness, we have to have them. And I knew he was looking for something. I was like, okay, let's help him out. So what age group do you serve?
So we have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds in our building.
Okay.
So
Oh,
3 and
cute.
4s, and then the 4s are turning 5.
Okay. So how many teachers do you have?
We have 10 teachers that work for our school district, 2 teachers that work for Head Start.
Okay.
So Head Start serves, they're not part of our school district. They're a federal program.
Right.
Independently funded, run by the Mid-Cumberland Head Start organization, but they have space in our building.
Okay.
So because we are all doing the same thing, trying to serve young children, and so they use 2 classrooms in our building
Okay.
for space for their program.
You guys have, I was talking to Dr. Bell about the application process to get an IE. Same thing with you guys.
Yes.
You've got, I know, because I had a couple of students that had younger siblings, and was a couple of Latino students had younger siblings, and we were helping them with some applications last year for younger siblings, because what is the criteria for them to come?
Well, we have we have several programs in our building. So we have the Head Start program, which has their own criteria.
Right.
Then we have special education, which a child must have a disability.
Right.
Or we can bring in peer models. We do that in 2 of the classes to provide an inclusion experience where there's no requirement other than we need them to have good language skills, good social skills, so that they're modeling behaviors that children with a skill gap need to develop, because we know that children learn best from other children.
Sure.
So we put them in that inclusion environment, and then they they tend to thrive.
Okay.
Then we have the voluntary pre-K program, which is 7 of our classes.
Okay.
And there is an income requirement for that program. So a family would have to make, it's based on the number of people who live in your home, and it's a different level for
Okay,
each
yeah,
number.
yeah.
And then so you would have to make that number or below to
Okay.
qualify.
Okay. And that was one of the things that I didn't fully understand. It's like if you're a mom and dad and have 5 kids, it's different than a mom and dad with 2 kids.
Right.
And so we were trying to get that clarification. So I appreciate you because it's a great program. And it is just, it gives an opportunity. A lot of families cannot afford daycare. They
Right.
absolutely can't. It gives an opportunity. I work with a lot of newcomer families. I've got some great friends from Egypt, and they, the mom, she is going back to school now because her kids have been. I mean, they're older now, but they were able to get into Head Start. They were able to get into these earlier programs. It's enabled her to be able to start looking into the workforce and things like that. It's just been incredible for them and to help get them acclimated. And I'm so proud of them, but I'm so thankful for those programs. I'm so thankful because there's no way they could
Right.
afford daycare. There's just no way.
Well, and our mission is to make preschool available to any child that needs it.
Mm-hmm.
So because many families cannot afford a private preschool,
Yeah.
because they have tuition that you have to pay. Ours is
You better
free.
believe it. I've got
So-
grandkids. I know.
So if our program is not for people who can afford the tuition,
right, yeah.
we are trying to make it accessible for every child that needs it and wants it.
Well, and I think too that some of our newcomers here in the country, the ones that maybe their first language is in English, it's so critical. I love that, I've got all these friends, these little kids that speak 3 languages.
Yes.
And I'm just so impressed because that's when they learn it. And it's so beautiful to see. And I've been so impressed with that aspect of it.
Right.
Too.
Well, one of the biggest focuses of our school is language development, and
Yeah.
we have Spanish speaking employees and English speaking, but we recognize that all of our children are learning language, even the English speakers.
Mm-hmm.
When you're 3 years old, you're learning language. You're learning how to
yeah.
speak. You may be still speaking in 2, 3, 4 word phrases. We're trying to extend that to a sentence, to paragraphs, to conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Every child in our school is learning language. We also recognize that some of them are learning more than one language.
Yeah. See, and I wish that I'd had that opportunity as a kid. I speak English. That's it.
Right.
And I have so many friends that are like, you need to learn that. I know. And do you speak anything other than English?
I don't.
It's
but
so
I'm
hard
very
when you're
thankful
older.
for. Yes, we have a translator that works in our office. I'm very thankful for her every
Yeah.
day. I need to go somewhere and live so that I can be immersed in it. I've
Immersive,
tried
yeah.
3 times to learn it, in different programs, and
Yeah,
it
me too.
just for me, it's just not enough. I need to go somewhere and be
too.
immersed in it to.
Well, I go to
pick it up.
Mexico every year, and it's not enough.
Right.
I go to about just a week, but by the time I come back, I'm doing a little
Right.
phrasing and stuff. But yeah, I always forget it. But thank you for our translators that are so wonderful.
Yes.
But I just love this. I love that y'all have that program. I love that you've got your Bransford line on. I love all of that. It's just such a beautiful heritage and beautiful history. What are you most proud of with Bransford? What are you most proud of with Bransford Early Learning School?
Mm-hmm.
Did I get it right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I'm most proud of our mission, that we are there to be a unique school,
Mm-hmm.
to serve our community, the Bransford community, in a very special way. I think that I'm proud of our staff because they are early childhood specialists. Our blended class teachers have 3 certifications. I mean, these ladies they have busted it in the classroom to be certified.
What do you mean by that? 3 certifications?
So every teacher,
That's impressive.
yeah, every teacher in our building is a certified teacher with the State Department of Education. So they're certified most of them are certified in general education and in early childhood education. But our special education teachers have 3 certifications in early childhood, general education, and special education. So they hold 1 license that has 3 certifications.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they've done a lot of work, and they're very we call them the unicorn in the world of education. If you can find a teacher that has all of those certifications, you gotta hire them.
Yeah.
Because there's not many people out there that have that.
Okay.
And it's the State Department requires in special ed that a teacher have a certification. We cannot give them a waiver
Yes, I got you.
because it's very important when children have a disability that they're
Yeah.
taught by someone that's knowledgeable
I
that
have
can help them.
the people who have the certification in special education are just priceless. Miss Gray is the one that does our special education at Greenbrier, and when I have kids that have issues, I'm calling her all the time. Okay, how do I handle this? And it's always brilliant advice.
Yes.
And yes, I'm bragging on you, Miss Gray, but I just love her. But she just understands it, and
Yes.
I can come to her with something. I'm like, what do I do? And she'll have something.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I hadn't thought about that. And, I mean, it's a critical piece of education that if you don't have it, you don't have it.
Right.
So that's wonderful. That's amazing.
And our special education teachers in our school as well, like we have a common professional learning community time with them, and they've taught our gen ed teachers a lot. They've taught me a lot about when, I talk about we're trying to become language development experts. Man, they're the ones teaching us how to do it, because when a child has limited vocabulary or language ability, they're nonverbal, which we like to say they're not verbal yet, because every child's communicating. We just have to figure out how they're communicating, and we have to speak that same language with them, because they may be communicating with gestures or their body language, because they may not have the words yet. And so those teachers have really done a lot of work with us and with the gen ed teachers to help us understand how to bring that into the gen ed classroom, because again, all of our children are 3, 4, and 5 years old. So they're all learning language. So the better that we can learn how to read their body language, watch their gesturing, listen to their speech patterns, then we can decipher what they need. And then it doesn't end up in a meltdown, a temper tantrum, because that's also communication. That's communication that my needs and wants are not being met right now.
Okay. That's interesting that you're talking, because some of the kids that I was talking about from other countries, watching them at that very early age, because maybe they hear one language at home, then they hear one language at school, and then they're picking up this, and they're just like going, which one? I had one little friend that she would use a mix of Arabic and English, and only her mother could communicate with her. And it was just the funniest thing. But once she got into school, she started sorting it out, and just, and again, they have these multiple languages, and I can't say enough about how important that is. It's just a beautiful thing when you can teach these kids these languages early on.
Yes.
I've got to ask you about Miss Lena. So how important is she to your school?
Oh, she's so important. We have her portrait hanging in our lobby as you walk in. She greets everyone. We talk about Miss Lena as if she's there with us, every day. So Miss Lena Bransford is our namesake.
Yes.
She was one of the teachers that started the very first Bransford school, which was for we would call it elementary school. Bransford High School wasn't started until 1913. Bransford, the school that she worked at, which is not at the location where we are now, it was on the corner of maybe between 10th and 11th and Cheatham Street, I believe.
I'm not sure, but I knew it wasn't the same place. But
they started that school. It was a one-room school, and they served children from, I believe, 1st through 6th grade. And then that was, I think, 1883. And then in 1913, they added a high school for the Black population in Springfield to go to school. She's
amazing. If you don't know her story, you will. During Black History Month, we always do, Danny Ashley over at the History Museum, they always do a presentation, and it's just wonderful. And she needs a statue somewhere. We need something really cool for Miss Lena.
Yes, I agree.
And I just really think so. I know they were painting they paint those little, the utility boxes. And I forget who I was talking to. I'm like, y'all need, and it was over in y'all's area. And I said, y'all need to do one for Miss Lena over there.
Yes.
And they were like, oh, that's a great idea. So maybe that'll happen at the very least. But I would love to see something really cool for her, because she was amazing. Never married. And I mean, she was, She was still teaching piano like the week before she passed.
Yes.
I mean, she was amazing and just a beautiful, beautiful person. And I just love her story. But I just
Yes.
love that y'all bear her name. And I just love the shirts.
Yes.
I love those shirts. Where can I get me a shirt?
You can contact Ted Jameson. He and his wife did a fundraiser about probably 3 or 4 years ago, and they printed these shirts and sold them, and the money that was raised goes to a scholarship
I think that's
for the
great.
Bransford Alumni Association.
I don't care what school you go to. Everybody needs that shirt
Right.
because that's such an iconic piece of our history here. And I just love that. But we're talking with Miss Jill Reeves, and she is the principal at Bransford Early Education School.
Early Learning School.
Early Learning School.
You're close.
Well, these acronyms. I was telling Dr. Bell, I said, I was trying to keep, because I've got all the principals have been, presented to me in a list, and I'm trying to get names down and school acronyms. I'm like, okay, what's that one? Yours threw me.
It's a
Because I was
lot.
like, I didn't have a clue. I was like, but I should have reached out to Jim to find out for sure. But what are we missing? What else would you like for people to know about your school? Do you think? But when will the application process to get in? When does that happen?
It never closes.
Oh, it doesn't.
No, we
Oh,
we are
okay.
not full. That's what we want people to know.
Really?
We still have about 25 to 30 spots for
Okay.
Bransford. The only, in fact, if you go district wide, the only pre-K classroom in our district that's full is at Kreisel. We still have openings at Joe Burns, Coopertown, East Robertson, Woodall, and Greenbrier,
Okay.
and Bransford.
Okay, go ahead.
At Bransford specifically, we have about 25 openings. Now, we do have probably about 20 applications that are being worked through right now.
Being vetted. Yeah.
Yes. Our voluntary pre-K coordinator, Jackie Ballou, does a wonderful job handling the application process for us. And she told me
She's
that she
wonderful,
still has them on her desk. What a lot of people don't understand is, applying for preschool is not the same as registering
Okay.
for kindergarten or first grade or high school. You don't just go online and do it and then, do it on a Friday and then come to open house on Monday.
Right. Right.
There is a process. And so one message we want to get out is really to families, if you want your children to start on August 6th, you really need to have that application in and complete by July 15th.
Okay.
Because very few families submit a complete application on the first try. We have to have birth certificates, immunization records, student histories, income, proofs of residence. And sometimes you just don't have those things on the day that you fill out your application. So we can't place a student until the application is complete.
Okay.
And so sometimes it takes several weeks. If you need a vaccine, for example, to enter preschool or kindergarten, then you have to make an appointment with the doctor and wait until they can get you in. And then you have to get that documentation and bring it back to the school. It's a process.
Yeah.
So we want people to know that if, families, if they can apply earlier, we never close the application portal, but it's open for the next year on March 1st, generally.
Okay. Yeah.
And we publish that. We put it out on social media and things like that. So March 1st generally opens it for the following year. Even though on March 1st, if you're still wanting to get a kid in for that current school year and we have openings, we would fill it
Okay.
if we have
Makes
it, if
sense.
we have an opening.
Well, and I remember when y'all first, because that's why I wasn't sure it wasn't just a seasonal thing. Because I think Jackie actually came in here and we
Yes.
talked about it. That's
Yes.
who came in, if I'm not mistaken, and we talked about the application process opening up. Now, is there a situation where you've got 20 you've got these open slots where somebody that exceeds the income level that they would have an opportunity to come in? How does that work?
I'm so glad you answered that because we have peer models. So if a family is over income, I would encourage any family, if you are interested in coming to Bransford for preschool or you are wanting preschool for your child, apply. Because if you're over income, as long as your child, again, we're looking at good social skills, language skills, play skills. Can your child sit and listen to a story? Excuse me. Those skills would be what we go to next to see if a child might be a good candidate to be a peer model in one of our special education blended classrooms. That's those inclusion classes where I was talking about the teacher that has 3 certifications. 50% of the class is made up of children with a disability, and 50% of the class is made up of children that are peer models. And so, yes, the answer to that is yes.
Okay.
You could be called to say, hey, we have a peer model opening a spot. Would you like to have that?
Okay, very good. Because I knew there was some little piece there. Because one of the families I was working with, they exceeded the income level.
Yes.
But then they said they could go on a waiting list, or
Yes.
and I didn't fully understand that. Okay.
And also, the state of Tennessee does not allow us to fill our spots with children that are over the income level until after a certain date, and it's in September.
Oh, I got you.
So we have to hold those spots for children that are under the income guideline until then. And then we have to look at secondary factors. Do they have any other at-risk factors? Like, do they have
Broadcaster's best kept secret. All
thank
cough
you.
drops.
I've been fighting this forever. See, I went and got my medicine ball this morning.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. It's allergy season. Let me go. I tell you what. You get together here, and I'm gonna do my ad. I need to do my break, so let's take a break here real quick. We're gonna talk about Highland Rim Speedway. I say Highland Rim Speedway. It's the old Highland Rim Speedway. It's Veterans Motorplex at the Rim. That's how Jerry has got it bannered right now, and he wanted to bring that the Rim back into the name because it's such a historic place. And you need to follow them at Highland Rim Speedway as far as the social media aspect of it, because that is where you're going to find out if they have rain delays, if they have any kind of information going on that's special to a race that's coming up. Just like they've got a track meeting on August 31st at 9 a.m. that they're wanting you to know about. You can come in and voice your ideas and things like that, because they're trying to make it better. They had a little bit of a delay starting the season because they were doing renovations, extensive. It's beautiful out there. They've done some renovations on the track. This is something that's historic. There's been so many famous racers that have been on this track, and they want to see that happen again. So if you've got some thoughts about what is going on at Veterans Motorplex at the Rim, go to the track meeting. It is again on Saturday, August 31st, 9 a.m. Going to have it in the grandstand. Come out, and he says, what's your opinions, your ideas? Anybody's welcome to come in and talk about what's going on with the racing out at Veterans Motorplex. Now, they're located at 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier, 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier, heart of Greenbrier. You can call them 615-430-3135, 615-430-3135. The grandstand's open on every Saturday at about 4:15, 4:30. You can head into the grandstand. Racing will start about 7, but they've got great concession stands. They'll have games for the kids and stuff. Just a great time. You're going to see the local favorites run, and you just never. It's a blast. If you've not been to the races, you got to get out before the season ends. They'll go through the end of October, maybe a little bit in November if they've got some races to make up and the weather will cooperate. But the racing season is typically March to October, so put it on your calendar. Get out there before the season closes. You want to get to Veterans Motorplex. A $40 ticket will get your whole family in, guys. It'll get up to 6 kids and 2 adults in for one $40 ticket price. And when you get out there, you be sure and let them know that you turned Cincha. And we're continuing on with our conversation with our principals here in Washington County.
Is there a cutoff? Can families get in if they're not under the income?
Yeah.
That we do have some opportunities for that. And another thing I wanted to say about that is for our peer models, we want them to be 4 years old.
Oh, okay.
Because some of our children with disabilities are 3 years old. And so the older, that you've just had another 12 months of your life, and there's a lot of growth, a lot of language development going on in that month of a young child's life, or in that year, to model that. So we want our peer models to be 4, which is if you apply for the voluntary pre-K program and you are not eligible for that, you have to be 4 anyway.
Okay.
So we can pull from that pool of applicants to bring in peer models. But it may not be at the beginning of the year, because the way it works, when it is a federal law that when a child turns 3 years old, the local school district has to offer services to children with disabilities.
Okay.
Doesn't mean the family has to accept the
them,
services, but we have to offer.
Yeah.
And so we have a meeting with every family that is referred to us and say, this is what we can offer to you if you would like it. And those children can come in at age 3.
Okay.
But as not everybody turns 3 before August.
Sure.
So as those children come to us that have a disability, then we need to add peer models as well, because we
Gotcha.
strive for that 50-50. So even if you don't get a phone call in August, I would tell families to don't give up, and I know that some families need to know,
Sure,
if I don't know now, I got to make another arrangement.
Yeah.
But if they're flexible, it's possible that they could get a call in November, December, February,
Sure.
because we need to try to strive for that 50-50.
I love that. And I think what a great opportunity for your kid to be a peer model. Oh, what a great learning
I really
experience.
wish that.
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
I really wish our boys had that opportunity
Oh
when
my
they were young.
goodness, yeah. My kids are all grown men, but my grandkids, I mean, so many of this stuff, man, that would be an amazing opportunity, and just teach them just a heart for kids that aren't, have got struggles that they
Yes.
can't even imagine.
That's
I
what
just
we
love
hear.
that. I love that.
That's what we hear from families that have had children be peer models, is that when we do those exit surveys,
Yeah.
that my child has become so much more compassionate,
Yes. Bless your heart.
so much more
I
aware
love
of people that aren't
Yeah.
like them.
Yeah. I'm talking with Miss Jill Reeves, and she is from the Bransford Early Learning School, and it's named after our sweet Miss Lena, who, if you don't know her history, you just really need to get to know her. And can we come and I guess, we're so strict on being able to come in and visit and all those types of things. If there's a family, because we've got to wrap it up, we're out of time. But what have we missed? Is there a way that somebody can come in and see the program? Can they visit before they register their kids? What is the process there? And then we'll have to wrap it up.
Yes, they can just contact me. I do that all the time. I do
Okay.
that even for families of children with disabilities. They're like,
Sure.
I want to see what it's like
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
If I'm going to trust my child to be with a group of adults, I want them to see that our staff is top notch, that every teacher is certified. This isn't, just a mom that wants to work,
Yeah.
and which is fine. I mean, that's great. But these teachers they at least have a bachelor's. Many of them have a master's. One of our teachers is currently working on her EDD. She's going to be Dr. Kelsey Kemp.
Awesome.
We have a highly skilled staff, and their children's going to come to school, and they're going to be loved. And we, of course, want to show that to them. So they can call the school, and I would be happy to take them around so that they can see. We want to see the great things there, because if people don't come in and see it, they won't know about it.
Sounds wonderful. Do you have that number on the top of your head that you can share?
I do.
Do it twice for us, and we'll wrap up.
615-384-4313. That's 615-384-4313.
Thank you so much. And again, she is Miss Jill Reeves. She is with the Bransford Early Learning School. And so thankful to meet with you. And thank you, Jim, for setting this up with the principals. I'm really going to enjoy this. All the stuff around